on the ground, you'll see cracks and patches and multiple different looks as you look down on the ground. Those are that visual is like the visual of an action abstract painting with textures. And so that was the seed of a lot of my abstract work.
Very
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Like
especially if you look at the ones that I think called Resurgence.
Yes.
Those were all based on sidewalks and alleys, just looking down at the ground. So,
and they can be very abstract.
They really can. They really can.
Absolutely.
Okay, so being the kind of guy that has embraced occupations that require resourcefulness and talent and discipline, how did you manage to stay on course?
Yeah.
I mean, you have so much going on.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think a lot of it has been luck of being able to find positions and jobs that stayed the course of at least something that has to do with creativity. I mean, today, I'm a computer-aided drafting engineering manager of a golf simulator company.
Yes.
But the design work of that is interior design and layout and design and as well as understanding perspective. So that still ties into this too as well. Yeah, I think it's been, I have not allowed myself to go off to do something completely opposite of what I'm interested in. Even if it was working in the museum field, it still had something to either do with the design or installation of an exhibit. Even though the Natural History Museum at first had a little to do with my art, but it was designing the interior space.
The exhibits too. Those
Absolutely.
They have
All
to be
exhibits.
very creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
you have to design them in such a way that the person who's walking through that museum gets a return. They look at it and they go, "Oh, I get it. I see how."
Yeah, they have an understanding and feel it. Yeah.
Well, and also for me to present to the board on this is the exhibit, what it's going to look like, I have to create a proposal as well as a rendering of that space. Yeah. So it all ties together. So I've been relatively lucky that I was able to stay within the framework of this. So.
That's really nice, though.
Yeah.
That way you keep your momentum going forward instead of branching out and kind of diluting what you want to do, really.
Duke, as you know, both Angie and I met and lived in San Diego for quite some time. And we were really pleased to find out that was your home base. San Diego was always a good place for us. We did a lot of creative work there. How did you end up there? I kind of suspect the same way I did because I got out of the Navy there, and I'm assuming because you're military, that's how. But how did you end up there?
Well, you're right. I mean, I could have gone to any city in the military. First, of course, it's boot camp out here for me because I was on this side of the Mississippi. It was west of the Mississippi, so we came out here to San Diego to Hollywood Marines. And the interesting thing is, I went back home because I went into reserves so I could go back to school. And that's where I went back to school, to Texarkana, and went to Texarkana College to study architecture because that's what I thought I was going to do. So I took a year and a half of architecture at the college, and I minored in art. And then I was in the reserves, so that's where I was a radio operator. But then I found out that I had an opportunity because my recruiter knew that I was an artist, and he called me and told me, hey, they're opening up a billet in San Diego for combat illustrator. You're interested? And I said, well, I was thinking about trying to get into the band. And he goes, well, you're going to have to fly to Florida to audition if you want to do that. With this, all you need to do is send an artwork to the headquarters Marine Corps and see what happens. And so I did that because that was a lot easier, less expensive. And so I got orders to San Diego. I could have gotten orders to Cherry Point, North Carolina. I could have gone to Norfolk, Virginia. I could have gone to any other place, but it happened to be San Diego. And I never left.
San Diego would be a good fit. You've had so many different careers.
Yeah, really. So many different careers. But so has San Diego been a good city for you as an artist?
It's been okay. It hasn't been absolutely great compared to other cities that support individual artists.
Right.
I think it's wonderful for the arts, for, music, dance, symphony, opera, theater, of course. It's been doing very well. But it does have a few things that are lacking compared to other cities for individual artists. It's growing. It's getting better. And we have over 5,000 artists that are listed in, I think there was a study done, but I would say still only about 1% of that is actually, working full time. And a lot of those that do work full time eventually leave San Diego and go to other cities, big cities that have more resources. It's getting better. I mean, we've got, I know you're probably not going to like to hear about this at all, Rod, but, NTC is now Liberty Station.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was bracked, several years ago, quite a while ago, and became Liberty Station, which keeps the theme going. There's actually little museum kiosks throughout all the buildings, and they're opening up a lot of the barracks. There are artist studios there. There are shops there. It's like an art enclave. San Diego Watercolor Society is there. The Women's Museum is there. Some of the barracks 16 and 15 and 16 and 19, they're actually wonderful individual art studios. And a lot of the other buildings, like Sail Ho, which was the golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those areas, the Cadillac Cafe. I mean, there were Corvette cafes there. So there's a lot of things going on at NTC there that's for the arts, but it is not enough. It's still very, very minimal. There's more restaurants and shops and stores than artist studios. So,
destination.
I mean, because what happens is that when an artist moves in, like myself, when I moved into my first art studio, the developer saw that this is a great way of making money, so they jacked up the rent.
Yep.
And then everybody has to move out. And then it becomes gentrified, and so everybody has to move out. And so, like, I have my studios in my home now, since I own my own home. So it's, I still love San Diego. It's still my home base.
Right.
But yeah, it's been.
I think we always
difficult.
used to say it's very provincial. And
in some ways it was.
I mean, it was a beautiful place to live. There's some really great people there, but I think our greatest achievements and accomplishments were always outside of that city. We had clients that we worked with that were from all over the world, and not, we had people that we worked with there, but
well, if it wasn't for Sparks Gallery, I mean, Sparks Gallery, Sonia Sparks at Sparks Gallery. She's my representative here in Southern California. I mean, she's in Gaslamp as well. And gallery owners like that support the local community, local artists, they're the champions of what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But a majority of my sales have gone through her. But my shows, most of my shows at the beginning of my career, as of right now, pretty much New York, New Jersey, Kansas, Florida. Not as much here, until this year. So I've got a few things coming up. So,
good for you. And out of all the careers that you've had, and you've had quite a few,
a couple.
What would you say? Which one of them gave you the opportunity for